Okay, well, I'm going to do another refurbishing job on another spoon. This is an H&H spoon. I like these. They're a little heftier. The gauge on the metal is a little more. This one is basically done. It's worn out. But I noticed that underneath that little bit of veneer of gold that was once gold is some chrome. And I know how to make chrome into gold. So the next trick is going to be to take all that off, polish it up a little bit, and renew it. So stay tuned. Okay, so last time we stopped our refurbish project on this H&H casting lure. You can see it was gold, and then polished it out back to its chrome subsurface. I guess they chrome these things or polish them out, and then they put a faux gold finish on it, a lot like I do on my chrome lures. So I was kind of happy to find a nice surface to work with underneath. And what I want to do is I want to redo this. I know a lot of folks are looking at this and saying that's a $4 item or a $5 item, and why go through all the trouble? Why not? I just get a lot of satisfaction out of doing something a little different. What I end up with will be something that will be a one of a kind. You won't be able to find it in the store. You may not want to find it in the store, but anyway, we're gonna go ahead and come up with a paint scheme. Now, I've kind of been debating on whether to do a gold chrome paint scheme, which is very it's a really effective paint scheme in the murky water in the Big Bend area in the Gulf of Mexico. What it is basically a gold on the top fading into chrome in what would be the belly area for this. Put an eye on it and probably a false eye, and give it a little bit of a dark halo or a dark color on the top to give it that dark top, light bottom sort of finish. I'll show you what gold chrome looks like on one of these lures. You can see, I hope you can see, the top is gold, and then it goes to a nice polished chrome. That's actually silver plate on this. This is one of my lures. And dark on top, little faux eye right there. So it's a simple lure, but it's effective. So I think let's do it. Let's do that. That'll be a nice color scheme, a little different than anything that's in the stores. So I got the airbrush going. Pressure set to right at 21 psi, which is pretty good. I'm going to wipe this down with some alcohol, and we'll get going. I like to keep a squirt bottle of water and alcohol for cleaning the brushes for one, and wiping things down. It just makes life a little easier. If it's in a squirt bottle, I don't have to open a big bottle. So I'm going to just squirt a little bit on the piece of paper and wipe it down, and give this a shot. So basically there's only going to be two colors. There's going to be the gold, chrome's going to stay on the bottom, and there's going to be black, maybe even transparent black. So we're going to start off getting the gold effect. The transparent paints really give you a lot of options to create some effects that you really can't with opaque or even pearlized. So I got my boat sitting here. My jack plate crashed. Been trying to fix it, and it's in pieces, but I got frustrated with it, so I'm painting lures. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this part as the top, and I'll blow paint first upwards to get a nice line, and then I'll give it a little bit of a halo, a little bit of a fade, and from there we'll go to black. And that should do it. Should be pretty simple. First layers of paint are a little bit light. You don't want to go too quickly with this. This way you get an idea of what you're starting to get. You can barely start seeing the gold on the top. Really starting to see this effect. So if you look, you can start to see the gold. I'm going down now against or down the body of the of this lure, so that I'm adding paint at the top, but I'm giving it a little bit of a fade, so I get a little overspray onto the silver, and that's kind of what I want. I want to make sure that front solder ball is covered. Not real happy with the shine on the back. It didn't come out as brilliant as the front. You can see the front really polished out. The back, it's not bad, but it leaves a little to be desired. I don't mind it too much. Alright. So I kind of like that. I want to go a little deeper on the gold on top. So I'm going to give it another shot. It looks pretty good. And that, once I clear coat it, it's really going to pop, but you can see the gold on top. See, if you do this kind of thing, you should probably, I don't know, at least I like to have some sort of semblance of continuity with the color scheme, so that the top on one side is the top on the other. I don't know if that matters, because this thing kind of wobbles and goes back and forth, so I don't think the fish are keeping score on that, so we'll see. Alright, I'm going to clean this off. I don't really need to clean the gun, since it's a really light color. I'm going to go with black. I'm going to go with opaque black for the eye halo and the strike eye, or the false eye in the back. I'm not going to get too fancy with this. On most lures I'll use a stencil or some sort of guide to set these things, but with this I'm just gonna freehand it. So first you got to pick a spot that you think looks like where the eye should be. So I'm going to go slightly above center line and just behind the ball of solder. So I like to kind of get it firmly on some surface, so it's not wiggling around, and then I'll just go ahead and work an eyeball in here. And there's the halo, and you can see I'm going to put an eye in there, stick-on eye. I want to make that halo just a little bigger. Okay, I'm going to do the other side. When you're using an airbrush, I don't know how some of you out there are probably experts, and I'm not, but the appropriate method of using it is to have the air going, and then feather in the color with the dual action, right? You don't want to go over and then hit the air and the color at the same time. You'll end up giving yourself a bunch of spatter. So I always start my air away from the work, and then bring the gun over and start in with the color. So you can see I got that spot and that spot. Now I want to put that false eye on there, and I think I'm going to put it right where that little fish is on the logo. I don't know if you can see that H&H logo. You can see the fish head with the gill. I'm going to put it right there. There's that, about there. Alright, now I'm going to give it just a little black along that upper edge. Not much. I don't really want it to obscure the gold, but I do want to give it something. So I'm gonna be painting away from the body. So I'm just getting that edge. I want a little extra over the head and over the front part than I do on the back. Okay, and you can see it. You can see it's got painted on the top too. So okay, that's the paint. So I'm gonna give it a little blow dryer time. Put the eye on, and we'll clear coat. Nice thing about the metal is that it absorbs that heat, and it helps really cure that paint. The plastic lures, not so much. Okay, I'm gonna get some eyes, and then we'll clear coat it. Here we go. Some little silver stick-ons. You can buy these anywhere. I think Bass Pro has these. They're not too bad. I mean, it ain't cheap considering what it is, but I don't use too many of them, so. I like to use a real fine pair of tweezers. Okay. The idea is to get it in there so it's centered in that eye halo that I put on there, the black eye halo. So there's a little bit of an eye rim, kind of gives it a little more depth. Not too bad. All right, can't be unhappy about that. This was a throwaway. Okay, next deal, let's clear coat. Again, I'm using UV. This is from so the folks at Lumalite, I guess that's the name of the company. Yeah, Lumalite. It's called Luma UV. Comes in really small bottles. You can get it in bigger. Of course, it's not cheap. This is 0.25 pound. They sell about a pound. But so far, as you can see, I'm kind of, I don't know if you can see it all, but if you look there, you can see where I'm kind of knocking off how many, notching off how many coats I get out of this. I'm up to a little over 200 already. That's not bad for 20 bucks. So you can do the math. Jeez. Alright, so nice thing is for the UV, you don't have to throw away brushes. I like to wipe it down. You know, there's a little extra on there. I like to wipe it down because I'll inevitably get some little dust particles or something. So, and then I want to make sure I don't have anything sitting on there. Okay, it's ready. So, what I do with this stuff, I'll probably do a video just on this UV coating, this UV resin coating. It isn't bulletproof. It will leave gaps. It will fisheye on you. So you got there's a couple of techniques that I found helped. One is that I put very little on the brush, and then I'll give it a skin coat or a tack coat, some painters call, and I'm just barely smearing enough just to sticky up. Is that a word? Just to get things sticky. And I'll come back over it with a more complete coat, basically a nice protective coating that'll give it a lot of gloss and give it a little protection against teeth. So I'm going to get the edges. I'm not going to worry about that wire or anything like that. So now I got a nice tack coat. Remember, it's not setting. It's not setting up right now because there's no UV light on it. It's too little in any of this stuff. So it's not really setting up, and you can already see it's starting to look pretty cool. It's already got a pretty nice gloss on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and now apply a nice thick layer. Now, don't get carried away if you do this, because it will run. And remember, it's not setting up anytime soon. You got to get it in the underneath some UV light. This is a really small object, so it takes very little. A couple of full brushes, and it's pretty much coated. I'm going to try to get coating on these edges just to keep the paint from being undermined by water in the back here. Get plenty on the eye, because even though the eye is 2D, there is a third dimension to it. There is some thickness to it, and you don't want the edge popping out. So one of the things about this thing, I mean, one of the real nice benefits is, since it's not setting up, you got lots of time to mess with this coat and to kind of monitor bubbles. Sometimes you can move them around and get them off. Sometimes just breathing on them gets them to go away. Just make sure you don't hook yourself. Okay, that's good actually. So I'm gonna keep, I keep it rotating so I don't sag it, and I'm gonna put it in the chamber, have it turn and turn the lights on, and actually what I do is I'll put it in there for about 8 or 10 minutes, just turning without the UV light on. That'll make sure that everything's distributed, and any little air bubbles will come to the surface and leave.